town of Pursville Hollow didn't show up on most maps anymore. Too small, too quiet, too many strange stories. Every October, something crept through its empty streets, something older than the town itself. Locals whispered about the midnight meow, a sound that haunted the last hour of Halloween night. If you heard it, you didn't sleep. If you saw it, you didn't survive. No one could agree on what it was. Some said a black cat cursed by a witch. Others swore it was the witch herself, trapped in the form of her familiar, returning each year to find a new soul to drag into the fog. Halloween night, 11:45 p.m. Fog pooled across Maple Lane like spilled milk. The last porch lights flickered as Mara drove home from a late shift at the diner, yawning and tapping her fingers on the steering wheel. She almost missed it at first, a glint of green in the mist. Then her headlights hit it, a black cat sitting dead centre in the road, still as a statue, eyes wide and glowing like twin candles. Mara slammed the brakes. The car screeched to a stop inches away. Heart hammering, she rolled down her window. "Hey, move it!" she called out, voice shaking a little. The cat didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. Then, with slow precision, it turned its head toward her and smiled. Mara blinked. Impossible! Cats don't smile. But when she looked again, the cat was gone. Only fog. She exhaled, shaky. "I need sleep," as she drove off, her radio, dead silent all night, sputtered to life. A whisper beneath static, "You shouldn't have seen her." Mara's apartment was an old, creaking Victorian, divided into units. She rented the top floor, right beneath the attic. That night the house felt wrong, too quiet. When she set her keys down, her cat Luna hissed at the front door, tail puffed. "Relax, girl," Mara said. "Just trick-or-treaters." But Luna's eyes tracked something Mara couldn't see, something moving in the hallway shadows. Then came it. A single meow. Long. Drawn out. Not Luna's voice. Lower. Sadder. Behind her. Mara spun around. Nothing. Just the dark window overlooking Maple Lane. Then she saw it. Tiny paw prints, wet and muddy, leading across her kitchen floor, up the stairs, toward the attic door. Her chest tightened. She hadn't been up there in months. Still, she followed. Because fear, real fear, makes you do stupid things. The attic door creaked open on its own. The air inside was freezing, thick with dust. Moonlight spilled through a round window, illuminating an old rocking chair. On it sat a porcelain cat figurine, black, with emerald glass eyes. As Mara stepped closer, the chair began to rock. Then the figurine blinked. By morning, Mara hadn't slept. Her hands shook as she poured coffee, replaying the night over and over. The paw prints were gone. The attic was empty. Luna was hiding under the bed, refusing to come out. That afternoon, Mara told her neighbour, Mrs. Harlow, an old woman with a face like wrinkled paper. Mrs. Harlow froze mid-sentence. "You said a black cat," she whispered. "With green eyes?" Mara nodded slowly. Mrs. Harlow's voice dropped to a tremble. "Child, that's Agatha's familiar. The Witch of Elm Street," she explained. 50 years ago, Agatha lived alone in a cottage at the edge of town. She was strange, yes, but kind. Helped the sick. Healed pets. Until one October, her cat vanished. The next morning, they found her house burned to ash. No body, no cat, just that figurine in the rubble. "They said her spirit got trapped inside it," Mrs. Harlow whispered. "She comes back every Halloween, searching for a soul to take her place." Mara laughed nervously. That's just a story." The old woman looked up at her with hollow eyes. "Then why," she said softly, "do I hear purring behind you right now?" Mara froze, because she heard it too, right behind her ear. A soft, rattling purr. She turned around, but there was only fog creeping under the door. That night the air was colder than usual. Luna wouldn't stop crying. The lights flickered every few minutes. At midnight the radio came alive again. This time no whisper, just the sound of a cat meowing, over and over and over. Mara grabbed her phone, shaking hands, recording, muttering to herself, "I'll prove it's real." The meows grew louder, closer. Then silence. She turned toward the kitchen, and there it was, Mrs. Whiskers, black fur rippling like smoke, green eyes glowing brighter than candles. It stood in the middle of the room, tail swaying slowly. Mara backed away. The cat tilted its head. Then it spoke. In a voice like wind through broken glass, "Your turn." The lights burst. A week later, the landlord listed the apartment. "Previous tenant moved out suddenly," the ad read. But the neighbours knew better. They still hear scratching in the attic, a faint purr on cold nights. Sometimes a black cat sits in the window, watching the street below. And if you walk by on Halloween and listen closely around midnight, you'll hear her voice, that soft, endless meow. And if she looks at you, don't smile back.